afternoon to you and welcome to Ogun State Television News at 2. I am Adebola Oshomoji. The government of Benin Republic has approached President Muhammadu Buhari to seek Nigeria's help to produce rice in the country. The country sent in a delegation of officials who met with the Chief of Staff, COS, to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, on Tuesday to tap from Nigeria's experience in reviving rice production. The Beninese delegation, who was led by the country's Minister of Agriculture, Gaston Gossi Dosohi, was led to the villa by Governor Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State and the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed. Speaking to the correspondent after the meeting, Bagudu explained that the delegation and Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria met with the COS to advance ongoing talks between the two countries on how to replicate Nigeria's rice farming program in Benin Republic. It said that the idea is that the move can lead to discontinuation of rice import to West Africa.
This is partnership within the framework of both the Economic Community of West Africa Agreement and the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and our brotherly relationship to President Muhammadu Buhari, President Patrice Talon, who respect each other, who have vision that we can be greater together.
The chairman of Rice Farmers Association, Aminu Goronyo, explained that the Benin government is desirous of learning from the Nigerian experience in rice production. The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, and its Trade Union Congress, TUC counterpart, Ogun State Council, have expressed their displeasure over the recent move of the removal of the minimum wage from the exclusive list by the Federal House of Representatives. The protesters, led by the NLC chairman, Comrade Emmanuel Bankole, and TUC chairman, Comrade Bomi Fajobi, made this known during a peaceful protest to the State House of Assembly, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Leaders and members of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and Trade Union Congress, TUC, in Ogun State came out of their numbers in a peaceful protest to the State House of Assembly to imitate and the leadership of the House of the Position on a private bill sponsored by a member representing Sabo Gari Federal Constituency. According to the NLC chairman in the state, Comrade Emmanuel Bankole, and his TUC counterpart, Comrade Bomi Fajobi, the bill, which is seeking the transfer of the national minimum wage from the exclusive legislative list to the concurrent legislative list, will negate the report of the Nigeria class. If passed, the duo described the bill as an orchestrated strategy to undermine the right of Nigerian workers. Ogun State House of Assembly has elected a member representing Ogun Waterside State's constituency, Honorable Balogun Akim, as the new Deputy Speaker, following last week's removal of his predecessor and member representing Ijebu North 2 State constituency, Dari Kadiri, for gross misconduct. The election was sequel to his nomination by a member representing Remo North State constituency, Honorable Solomon Osho, seconded by his Ijebu North East counterpart, Honorable Abayomi Fasuwa, and was unanimously supported by other lawmakers at a plenary presided over by the Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, at the Assembly Complex of Kemoson, Abeokuta. Correspondent Kolawole Osho covered the plenary. Details of his report are presented in this package.
Clerk of the House, Mr. Adedeji Adeyemo, while presenting a report before the lawmakers, recalled one of the major events of the plenary of the House held on Thursday, 4th March 2021, which culminated in the impeachment of the former Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly from office. He further stated that the exercise has created a vacuum in the office of the Deputy Speaker of the House and communicated the notice of vacancy to the plenary for necessary action as contained in the extant provision of the standing order of the House. Before conducting the nomination exercise, the clerk and head of legislative service, Mr. Deji Adeyemo, also reported to the House the vacancy in the office of the Deputy Speaker, after which Honorable Solomon Oshon nominated Honorable Hakeem Balogun, representing Ogun Waterside State Constituency, for the post seconded by Honorable Abayomi Faswa. The voting process thereafter concluded upon the acceptance of nomination of Honorable Hakeem Balogun, who thereafter took the oath of office and that of allegiance, respectively, as administered on him by the clerk.
I, Balogun Hakeem Balogun,
do solemnly swear,
affirm
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
I want to appreciate the Right Honorable Speaker and all the honorable members of this House for the support. I believe, as the captain of our ship here, I will regularly be in consultation with him on issues that will bring development and place Ogun State on a good pedestal among the community of states within Nigeria.
In another development, the Assembly has confirmed the nomination of Governor Dapo Abiodun's nominee, Mrs. Remilekun Olaopa, as a member of the State Independent Electoral Commission, OCSEC, having screened and found her eligible and suitable for the position. A confirmation was sequel to the adoption of the report of the selection committee as presented by the majority leader, Sheriff Yusuf, who also moved the motion for its adoption, which was seconded by Honorable Ajayi Bolanle and supported by other lawmakers through a voice vote.
Committee report having been adopted by this House, I hereby proclaim Barrister Mrs. Remilekun Olaopa confirmed as a member of the Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission. Self-elected governor can go ahead and swear there and so on.
It will be recalled that the lawmakers had, during the screening conducted on her previously, considered the curriculum vitae of the nominee, with a charge on her to work with other members of the commission towards ensuring the conduct of a peaceful, free and fair local government election in the state, upon confirmation by the legislature and subsequent approval by the state governor.
Former Governor of Ogun State and national leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Aremo Olusegun Oshoba, has received jab of the COVID-19 vaccine at the governor's office clinic, Okemosan, Abeokuta. The Commissioner for Health in Ogun State administered the vaccine to the former governor, who admonished Nigerians to avail themselves for the vaccine.
I want to congratulate the governor and the government of Ogun State for being the first state to receive this vaccine. And I have come to show example and to show leadership and to convince our people in Ogun State that the vaccine is safe. They should ignore many of the disinformation that is going on the internet about the risk of taking this vaccine. I'm happy to take it, and I recommend it to everybody in Ogun State. I'm very old, I'm advanced in age. If at 82, I can make myself available, everybody should be ready to take it. There's no risk, no danger.
The Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Tokunbo Talabi, Chief of Staff to the Governor of Ogun State, Alhaji Shuaib Afolabi Salisu, accompanied the APC chieftain to get vaccinated. The head of service, Alhaja Selmon Otun, also received a jab of the vaccine administered to her by Dr. Tomi Koka, Commissioner for Health. Come Friday, 12th March 2021, a 10-day campaign for the process of vaccination of the just received batch of Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine in Ogun State will commence. Commissioner for Health in the state, Dr. Tomi Koka, who confirmed this while speaking with OGTV News, noted that 138 teams are prepared to work at the 107 vaccination centers across the state. Elizabeth Esson reports.
Ogun State government was the first state to receive the first batch of AstraZeneca Oxford COVID-19 vaccines in just a week of arrival of 3.9 doses in Nigeria. From all indications, it appears mechanisms are already in place for vaccination even before the arrival of the vaccines, as the state governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, took the first jab in less than 12 hours after the arrival of the vaccines. Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, confirmed that modalities are in top gear to ensure those that fall within the priority group are vaccinated in the first batch of the exercise.
In Ogun State, we are certain we have about 25,000 health workers, both in the public and the private sector. Those are the group that we will target first. And as I mentioned earlier on, we have over 113 vaccine doses to give. So once we've addressed that group, we will then move to other frontline workers. Being that the vaccine that we have is a 2-dose vaccine. So the first dose will be now, and 12 weeks later, there will be a booster dose. That is only when you can say you have immune protection to the COVID-19 virus.
Dr. Koka also speaks on the process of the vaccination to ensure everyone gets vaccinated for immune protection against COVID-19.
Across Ogun State, we have 107 vaccination sites, and we have 138 teams that would work across those vaccination sites. With regards to our cold chain, we have a walk-in cold room here in Abeokuta, the capital, at the state level, and at the local government level, we have deep freezers and ice-lined refrigerators, which would keep the integrity of the vaccine. And from there, there is also the transportation of the vaccines under tight security to the wards at the facilities where they will be administered. At those facilities, we have what we call solar direct drive refrigerators and freezers. The reason being, it's not dependent on electricity. You could put it in a village because it depends on solar to be powered. Hence, the correct temperature for the vaccine will be maintained at all times.
On the safety of the vaccines, Dr. Koka assured that the vaccines will be of great benefit for all. The general public is therefore enjoined to put all sentiments aside and endeavor to get vaccinated. It should also be noted that arrival of vaccines should not be an excuse to drop the non-pharmaceutical protocols. Elizabeth Esson, OGTV News.
An 11-man expert team from the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, and has met with the commissioner in charge of the Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs on a mission to rehabilitate and recover properties of people affected by the flood in 2018 in Abeokuta. Leading the team to the state capital, Mr. Kayode Fagbemi, said a fund has been approved and work will begin once the paperwork with the Ogun State government are completed. Bomi Adigun completes the story.
The 2018 flood that ravaged Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, will for a long time linger in the memory of those affected. But hope has been rekindled as those affected will now be rehabilitated by the federal government through the Ogun State government being represented here by the Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Barrister Femi Ogunbanwo.
In trying to rehabilitate those who are victims of the flood incident in 2018. As a state, we want to tell this state that we are ready for this situation. We are also prepared.
An 11-man team that will be working with an Ogun State team to put smiles on the faces of these people has arrived at Abeokuta for that purpose.
President Muhammad Buhari recently approved that some houses, 2-bedroom houses prototype, should be built for the people. This is a support, but it has to be in collaboration with the state government.
The usual format of giving relief materials as stopgap measure is over, as those affected will heave a sigh of relief placing them bigger and better than where they were before the flood.
The recommendations of the committee was short term, medium term, and long term. And part of the long term was to relocate the people. And in doing that, it means the state government must partner with the federal, or the federal partner with the state. And that's exactly what we are here. We visited in 2019. We visited the team of the state.
Director General of Lands and Survey, who doubles as special advisor to the Governor on Lands, Mr. Aina Salami, and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Mr. Kehinde Onasoya, assured them of cooperation and success of the project in the state.
Very ready to take it to site so that we can take it up from there. And the other details will be ironed out as we go on in this journey.
I want to appreciate you and the ministry as a government. And when passion meets passion, everything has to do with meeting millions of people and bringing support.
1,313 households, 520 damaged buildings with 80 houses severely damaged are all listed for rehabilitation. Bumi Adigun, OGTV News.
Ethnic profiling of criminal herdsmen has been described as inappropriate, as criminals should be dealt with as criminals and not as ethnic groups. Emeritus Professor of History and Grand Patron of K2 Professionals, Professor Anthony Ashiwaju, made his submission while giving his input to the Peacekeeping Committee on Herders and Farmers Conflicts put in place by the Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun. Governor's Office Correspondent Tunde Olaniro reports.
The terms of reference given to the Peacekeeping Committee on Farmers Herdsmen Crisis are to find out causes of the conflict and recommend permanent solutions to the crisis. Having visited the location of the crisis, the committee is now harvesting contributions from concerned citizens in achieving its objectives. This time around, it is the Ashiwaju of Yowaland, Emeritus Professor of History, experts in boundary matters, as well as the Grand Patron of K2 Professional, Professor Anthony Ashiwaju, who opined that the governor, through the committee, has given Ogun West Senatorial District a sense of belonging.
I am personally not quite happy, not quite satisfied with ethnic profile of the criminal activities of the herders in our own area, as well as in the adjacent Ogun of Oyo. Criminals are criminals, and if they are criminals, they should be dealt with as criminals.
The herdsmen causing the problems are not all Fulanis of Nigerian extraction, according to Professor Ashiwaju, noting that boundary disputes is also a cause of the crisis.
As a boundary expert, what we are facing here is a boundary problem, and you may be surprised, or you may, I start to be asked questions as to how is this a boundary problem?
He gave series of recommendations, one of which is putting to use the forest reserves, adequate compensation of victims, among others.
It is because the Abiodun-led administration wants to tackle this problem head-on, problem of relationship, that they have set up this committee. I am sure that your committee would succeed.
There were inputs from members of K2 Professionals and other committee members on the subject matter, proposing the establishment of cattle ranch around the area with necessary amenities. They all agreed that there is need for public sensitization and education on the need for peaceful coexistence and the advantage of unity in diversity. The elder statesman presented his thoughts in a 124-page document. Tunde Olaniro, OGTV News.
The need to empower women in all ramifications is an indication of ensuring a better living that will improve their socio-economic growth. The State Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Kikelo Molunge, as well as her counterparts in the Ministries of Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, and Women Affairs and Social Development, Honorable Fumilayo Ifuakwe, stated this during empowerment program for women in politics. Our reporter, Yusuf Ganio, witnessed the event held at Okimoson, Abeokuta. His report.
This year's International Women's Day, it's all about women making changes in all strata of the economy. For this reason, 3 women commissioners in the Ogun State Executive Council, which include Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Kikelo Molunge, Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, as well as Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Honorable Fumilayo Ifuakwe, jointly donated 4 freezers to some women to support their businesses.
We present this deep freezer to you as part of our empowerment initiative.
According to the commissioners, the intervention was thoughtfully to ensure women are empowered and appreciated for their support to the current administration in the state.
When you empower women, you empower more than just that person, because women, take care of the children, they support their husbands, they have households. So it's like, you're empowering an entire household because the woman is very multidimensional.
In celebration of the International Women's Day, we are empowering our women. It's a way of us giving back to the system out of what God has blessed us with.
What we're doing today is actually going to sort of have the ripple effect within the family and the community as well, because the people that they serve as well will have a better service.
The beneficiaries were extremely excited for the gesture, which they believe will enhance their sustainability. In the same vein, Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Kikelo Molunge, received the Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria, Abeokuta District, on a courtesy visit.
It's important to try and bring up other people, especially the young girls. They need to be encouraged, the girl-child education, girl-child professionalism, just let them get it right and understand what it's all about.
While intimating the commissioners about the activities of the association, the chairperson, Dr. Taiwo Alakija Aroyewu, appreciated the current administration for its leadership quality and approach to good governance.
There's an organization that does not need an accountant, because without an accountant, accountability is known. There's no accountability. And that's why we're having fraud, everywhere.
The Society for Women Accountants of Nigeria is an organization dedicated to serving all Nigerian women accountants. Yusuf Ganiyu, OGTV News.
Health system in most of Brazil's largest city are collapsed due to COVID-19 cases. Experts, however, warned that the highly contagious variant in Brazil may have knocked on effect of region and beyond. The country has recorded more than 266,000 deaths and 11 million cases since the pandemic began, having it as the second largest number of deaths in the world after the US and the third highest number of confirmed cases. Despite this, President Jair Bolsonaro has consistently opposed quarantine measures and expert advice on fighting coronavirus. Reactions have trailed Super Eagles head coach General Roy's 31-man provision list for this month's 2021 African Cup of Nations qualifiers. The Nigeria Football Federation on Tuesday released the squad list for the Eagles game against Benin Republic and Lesotho, with Belgium goal King Paul Onacho surprisingly placed on standby despite his impressive performance for Gen so far this season, while team captain Ahmed Musa, who has been without a club for 5 months, was invited for both matches. Onacho is top scorer in the Belgian top flight with 25 goals in the 29 matches. On Musa's inclusion in the squad, Fashanu added that it is absolutely ridiculous that someone who is on fire and scoring goals wasn't selected. And before we end the news at 2, your failure does not define you, your determination does. You can now watch us live on these platforms: Apple, Roku, Facebook, and Android devices. You can also watch live on OGTV website, www.ogtv.com.ng/live. And now we have come to the end of the news at 2. Thank you very much for your company. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.